let me
Whose
look.
hoodie is that?
Dan's. I was like, what size is this? A large or extra large? Because it seems kind of big. And so I went and I looked and the tag's gone. I don't even know what size it is. Oh, that's okay. I mean, like, it's like
Big.
it's warm and cozy though. Warm and
Can I go
cozy.
get my water?
You may, sorry, if y'all are waiting on this video.
Is that a crock pot?
It is a crock pot with mac and cheese. Oh wait, I'm videoing. It's for lunch. Anyway, all right, let us get started. So I'm gonna do. It looks like I'm doing 1, 2, 3, and 4. How many are on this thing? Ooh, this one has something's not right with this.
There's 23.
Here it is. Okay, I am gonna do 1, 2, 3. I said there's 23.
There's 23 on this.
There's 23 on the test. Okay, so I'm gonna not do 4. Here we go. Let's move on. Let us move on. So it says factor, so I will factor. Number 3, I'm going to cheat. Nah, I might factor. Oh, number 3, I'll just factor. Factor is not bad on number 3. Okay, number 1, the problem with it is I need to move the 28 over here. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah? I'm going to put a piece of paper down here, so let's see. I've got a little room to write. All right, now if I do my 2 parentheses, I got my equal 0. X and X, what times what is 28?
7 and 4.
Does that add to 11?
It does.
Yes. It does. So I'm going to put my positive 7, my positive 4, which are not my answers, right? We're close. We're very close. I've got x plus 7 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. What are my 2 answers? They are negative 7 and negative 4. If you get confused tomorrow on the test, you could graph it really quick and check your answers and see that they're both negative. Does that make sense? It's negative 7 and it's negative 4. If I typed that into my y equals, we would see on our graph that it's at negative 4 and negative 7. Do y'all understand that? So if you forget, oh man, I forgot, what do we do from here? You can always graph and check.
So you can just flip it like when you get the x plus 7 and
Yeah,
x plus 4,
and I don't
you
even
just
do
know that
this.
I need to change
I don't
it.
even do this part. I know it's negative 7 and negative 4. Done.
If it's a negative 7 and a positive 4, would it be a
positive 7 and negative 4. They're just the opposite. Because you have to move them to the other side. Okay. Another one, number 2. So that is just like number 1 on your test. It's multiple choice. Then you'll get to number 2 on your test, and it's just like this one. It's not multiple choice. So we factor. It's x and x. What times what is 32?
8 and 4.
Okay, 8 and 4. And they add up to 12, but I need it to be negative 12. So it's negative 8 and negative 4.
So it's negative because there's a plus?
Because, well, no. It's negative because of that right there.
Okay.
Negative 8 times negative 4 is 32. Negative 8 plus negative 4 is negative 12.
But they're actually both going to be.
But I have to finish solving out my answers. My answers are 8 and, or y'all just write them together, 8 and 4. Because if I moved them over, and y'all, if you wanted to graph it, you could graph it. If you did, you would see it would look like that. And where is it crossing? At 8 and 4. Does that make sense? You would just count. It's crossing at, oh, I missed that, sorry. Totally missed the 4. There it is. Okay, see, it's at 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. If you were to graph it, you could see that. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. We're good. The next one, it looks terrible. I will also graph it, but this one's multiple choice. I'm going to make it easier. I'm going to divide everything by 3 real quick. is this the same? This is y'all's study guide, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna divide everything by 30. Everybody good with that? So now I don't have to do greeny glasses. For those of you that did greeny glasses. Tomorrow, hold on. Oh, that says study guide part. Hold on. I'm trying to look up something. This has how many questions on it? 23. And what did I said the test has 23. I don't think I said 20. Then let me find, because I think I found the wrong thing. I think I just found it. This one has 20. Oh, no, but that has eyes on it. I have not eyes like eyeballs.
No, like the eyes.
Like, yeah, imaginary numbers.
Hate it.
28. I cannot. Okay. So actually, okay, then let me finish this one and then I'm going to graph it because tomorrow this one may be better to graph. I shouldn't have done 1 and 2. There was only one of those. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, let me factor. I don't know what I did with my marker, so we'll go to purple. So I get x, and what times what is 10? 5 and 2. Do those add up to 11? How about 1 and 10? But they both need to be negative. Does this even an answer? 1 and 10, are they going to be an answer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So then if I solve them both, it's 1 and 10. But tomorrow I don't think you can divide that way. So let me show you what to do. Tomorrow you're going to think, oh, if that's greeny glasses, I don't want to do greeny glasses. You go to y equals, and you're going to type in x squared minus 11x plus 10. Okay? I'm going to graph it. And I don't know, I think we might get, y'all, if you get, this one we're not going to get a decimal. Obviously, we're going to get 1 and 10. But tomorrow you might get a decimal, and that's okay. So you can tell this is at 1, and this one looks to be at about 10. But what if it wasn't? Like, what if it could be a decimal? How do you find the... So you press second trace, find the 0. So I'm going to go this one right here. I'm going to go to the left, the right, and back to it. And see, it tells me it's 1. Okay? So tomorrow, you're not going to be able to do greeny. You're going to have to do greeny glasses to factor on one of these. But I would just plug it in and find it this way. And say it gives you a decimal. You might end up with a decimal.
It's not an even number.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even look at the answer to see. I see there's several answer choices. So I'm saying it could be like a fraction or decimal, or it could be a whole number. I'm betting most of them look like they're fractions. So my instinct tells me your answer is probably a fraction. But don't just choose that tomorrow because I didn't look to see what the answer was. Okay, let's move on. The next one is graphing, solve by graphing. So y'all tomorrow do not forget your 2 answers, okay? See how we got 2 answers just now? So tomorrow on the test, on this one, we're looking for our 2 answers. So I'm going to graph it. I go to y equals, and I'm going to type in x squared plus 3x plus 2. And I'm going to graph it. Oh, and they look like they're at -1 and -2, but I don't know.
It is.
Okay? So if I wanted a second trace, I could. And I could go to the left, to the right, back to it. And that is at -1. All right, I can also look at my table. And they are at -1 and -2. So we can just pick some points. We said our zeros are here. So I'm going to write those down. -1 and -2. That is me solving them. Now I'm graphing. Pick some other numbers. 0, 2, and negative 3, 2, and doesn't it just kind of dip right below that? Okay, everybody good with that? So I
We
just
need to write our x's out to the side.
huh?
We need to write like x equals negative 2 and x equals negative 1.
You can't, I wrote it like this, you can write x equals negative 1 comma negative 2, however. But yes, for that, for number 4 on your, or it's number 3 on your test. But for this one, you have to find your answer, your roots. It says solve it. That's solving it right there. Those are my solutions. That's my graph, that's my solution. Do we get that? Okay. Let's still see y'all writing. Alright, we've done 3 out of 20. I think we're gonna make it.
No. Hope so.
We're gonna be close. Maybe we can at least get like 15 or 18 out of 20.
taking it tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we're gonna take it tomorrow, and it's partner, so I hope y'all know your partner. Okay, then the next one, okay, this one, it looks like that's all my solve by graphing. So let's skip down to this one. Okay, so a stone is dropped from a cliff. So I would use my y equals, and let's graph this and see a picture. Negative 16x squared plus 352. Y'all, that plus 352, guess how far up it takes us? 352. Okay? Most likely, something like that. So, how about we just go up, what number do you want to go up to? Maybe 500? I mean, you can graph if you want like this. I can't see it. So I'm going to go to my window, and I'm going to go up, that's my y max, to 500. That might be way too much. Oh, it's about perfect. Is everybody okay with this? I could already tell. I'm going to have to go up. So it says you drop it, and it wants to know how long is it going to take to hit the ground. So, I keep losing my markers. Go purple. All right, so what I'm looking for, none of this matters over here. We're not going to go backwards in time. All right, I throw it, and over time, boom. This is not how far out it goes. This is time it takes before it hits the ground. So when does it hit the ground? How do I find that?
Second trace.
Yeah, second trace, and then the 0. We're going to find that when it's 0, a 0 height. So I'm up here, so I'm going to go to the left inner, to the right of it inner, and then I'm going to go back to that point. There it is. Maybe there. Okay. And it tells me that it's, go to 2 decimal places, 4.69 seconds. Do we see that answer? Yes, we do. How was that one? That one's not bad, huh? Just find your 0. Okay. There's one like that on there. Let's see what's next. All right, it says I'm on number 10. If I might come back to some of these, I'm not sure. Number 10, it wants us to solve for x. Look, I even gave y'all hints. How nice. You're welcome. It says solve for x. How do you solve for x? Divide by 3. Okay. So I'm going to divide by 3. So x squared equals 4. How do I get rid of an x squared? Square root. What is the square root of 4? 2. And?
Negative 2.
Okay. How many answers have we been having? 2. Parabolas, most of the time, until the end of the test, intersect twice, right?
So we can just do for the answer plus or
Minus 2. Look at the next one. I don't know if this one's on there, though, but see how they have a positive and a negative.
But we don't have to. We can
Yes.
just do plus or minus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
what
how
I
I write
said. I
that.
didn't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes, you can write it like that, or you can write it like that. That's the same thing. This is how I would write it. Okay. The next one is on there. So, which is kind of good because now you'll know, it'll remind you on this one, oh, I have a positive and a negative answer. Let me go back up to it.
So Miss
And-
Mason, you just divided it or halved it?
Which, this one? No, I square rooted it. What times what is 4? 2 times 2. Okay. This one looks difficult. Let's just solve for x and reduce our fraction. and then it will not look difficult. Okay, so if I solve, let me rewrite it. If I'm solving for x, I'm going to divide by 192. So let me type that in my
You
calculator.
get 0.5625,
Press math, enter, enter.
and then you get 3/4.
Wait, for 108 over 192?
Mine didn't go to fraction.
You have to hit math and read.
What's 108 divided by 192? Math, enter, enter.
0.5625.
Divided by 192 and 9/16.
9/16, that's what I'm looking for. Yes, you're ahead of me. You're just right ahead of me. Okay?
Okay.
So, 9/16. If I just type this in my calculator, yes, it'll give you a decimal. Do you see any kind of decimal answer? No. Okay, so let's just keep it as a fraction so I can compare my answers. Math, enter, enter. Is everybody okay with this? Now, that is an answer, but there's a problem with it. What is this? We have to square root it. What is the square root of 9?
3.
What is the square root of 16?
4.
And we have plus or minus.
Also, quick question.
Yeah.
I took 108 after I divided it, that 0.56 number, and I just squared
Square
it
root
back,
it,
and then I did math. And
enter,
read.
enter. Yeah,
Is that
that's,
still
so
possible?
yeah, so what it did was, yeah, it just, you kept it as decimals and then ended up getting 0.75 or something. Yeah, and then you press math, enter, enter, and so you knew it was gonna be 3/4 and
I didn't know if it was gonna mess me up.
yeah, if for some reason that you're like not getting the right thing tomorrow, just go back to fractions
Okay.
here. Okay? Everybody's good? Yep, and I gave you the hint, solve for x. So we solve for x, we square root, and then we put plus or minus for both of those. Alright, this one says, hey, there's a hint. I was too nice on this test last year apparently. Hey, this is a perfect square trinomial. So they want me to solve it like a perfect square trinomial. And this one is on there. I think both of these are, 12 and 13. Okay, so I'll write it out the first time, both of them. Right, I'm not going to move anything around. That's x and x. What times what is 16? 4. Do y'all notice the same thing is written twice?
Mm-hmm.
So, do y'all remember them writing it, well, and me, like this? Y'all do remember that? Okay, so we're just saying, hey, let's skip down to this. Now, to solve for x, how do you get rid of that square? It's what we just did on the other problems. Square root both. Right? We just did that on the previous problem. So we're getting used to square rooting. So x plus 4, what is the square root of 16?
4.
And negative 4 as well. Remember, on the other problems we have two answers, 4 and negative 4. I meant positive and negative. Now you have to solve them both. So we're going to get our two answers. What are they going to be? Well, this one I'm going to subtract 4, that's right.
8
And I get 0. This one I'm going to subtract 4, and you get negative 8.
So x equals 0, negative 8.
Those are your two answers. Big hint. Also another hint. You forget all this. Oh my gosh, I forgot what to do. If you get it equal to 0, graph it, it'll give you the two zeros. Okay, your graph, but to graph it, it has to be equal to 0. I would have to move the 16. So I would end up graphing x squared plus 8x.
And that's it.
I would put that in my y equals, find my zeros, and there they would be. Okay? You can always go back to graphing tomorrow until quadratic formula.
Wow.
Okay?
Is that on the test tomorrow?
Mhm.
Oh.
So, everybody okay with this one? Yes. Can I erase? Alright, the next one, and y'all, I am video, and I'm hoping the sound works. There's been issues with the sound, and like, I don't know, something with the camera.
You're not talking loud enough?
No, it's like, I'll say, but, like it'll do that. It's funny. But like, I'll just be like, okay, and it'll say, okay, you know, it just keep. Okay. It's not. Alright, this one, I'm going to skip the other step. It's a perfect square trinomial. So it's x, and then this number would be what? 4 and 4. And this time it has a minus sign. Is everybody okay with that? Why does it have a minus sign? Because it had to add up to negative. Okay? Now I must square root both sides. Yes, are y'all hot? No. Yes, some of us are. I am warm, but this is cozy. Okay, so if I square root both sides, I get 8 and
Negative.
there you go. Wait for somebody to tell me. Okay, then what do? Add 4. So if I add 4 over here, I get 12, and over here I would get negative 4. Those are my two answers. Again, y'all, if you forgot how to do this, subtract that 64 from that number, graph it, and those would be the two zeros you would see, 12 and negative 4. Okay, you can always check by graphing. All right, we're good with this? Yes. I'm hoping y'all do so well on this test. Really, really want y'all to. Okay. The next one, let's see. Number 14 is. Okay, this one's on there. Number 14, sorry. What value completes the square? It does not want us to solve anything. It just says, hey, what number do I have to add right here to complete the square? So you take half of that, which is what? And square it. Which is? That's all it wants. Okay, it doesn't want you to solve anything. We did a whole day of completing the square. So you take half that number and you square it. Number 15 is not on there.
It's the same.
But it would be 4. This one would be 4 on number 15.
Did you know how to do that?
What? The one we just did? Yeah.
It'd be positive 4, right?
Yeah, that one, because anytime you square a negative, it's going to be positive. Okay, are we good with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all right. That's completing the square. It just says for what value? What value completes the square? That's it. All right, next up we've got...
So how are these squares if they're parabolas?
No, the square, that x square is a quadratic.
Okay.
Okay, that's a quadratic equation, which is going to make the shape of a parabola. It's not square does not mean shape square. It has something to do with that, but it means like if you square a number kind of thing, like a number.
Listen to the Quadratic song during the test.
I don't know about that. Okay, this one, it says solve by completing the square. I'm looking at number 17. Okay, I think that's the one I'm looking at.
Oh, quadratic.
Actually, it looks more like 16 because you would have to move the 46 over, okay? But actually it's set up like 17. It's weird. All right. So, what you have to do, look, let me just reset up number 17. This is what theirs looks like. Let's look at number 17. But this is how they started off. All right. If we are solving by completing the square, it's telling us solve by completing the square. The first thing I need to do is move that number over here. Okay, which is what they really have already done. But tomorrow you'll have to do this step. I'm leaving a space. Why am I leaving a space? Because I'm going to take, ooh, this is yuck. I'm going to take half this and what? Square. I'm going to square. That's completing the square. What is half of 3?
1.5.
1.5, and then let's square it. 1.5 squared is 2.25. So if I add 2.25 over here, I have to add 2.25 over here. I think this one's actually looking... All right, let me see if tomorrow's looks like this. No, tomorrow's is so much better. I might do, let me look at number 16 real quick. I hope it ends up with a square root. Number 17 looks terrible. It's actually way more like number 16. Let me do that, okay? Because this one with the decimal is going to be awful. Okay, yep, sorry. Scratch it. We're going to number 16. It looks way more like number 16. Are y'all okay with that? Okay. All right. I don't want to torture you anymore than I have. So, I would have x squared plus 14x equals negative 46. What did I just do there?
Added the
Yeah, I
To
moved the
0.
46 over there. Yeah, to the other side. Now, what do I do to complete the square?
Half
14 squared.
Yep, you take half of 14 and square it. So if I take half of 14, it's 7.
Square at 49.
So I'm gonna add 49 to both sides. Is everybody okay with that? Does everybody know where that number came from? Now that's a perfect square. Yay, I can solve it just like I did the last problem I did. Okay? So, with the, not this one, with the completing the square. So how do I set that one up? This is a perfect square, so it's x and x. And what's that? 7 and 7, and we got a plus sign. Now, what is negative 46 plus 49?
6, 7, 8, 9.
Let's read it repeat. Okay?
Sorry. I don't know.
Why am I getting something? Oh, I'm looking at these answer choices, which are not right. Okay, everybody okay with this so far? Now what do I do?
Square root.
Square root both sides. So I get x plus 7 equals plus or minus the square root of 3. Are we okay with that? Then what do you do to solve?
You have to subtract 7.
Subtract 7. So I get negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 3. That's our answer. Theirs just have fractions on the other one. That's number 7.
Wait, so what's the answer?
That is your answer. That's both of them. It's negative 7 plus the square root of 3 and negative 7 minus the square root of 3. And it's going to look just like that tomorrow. There's not going to be fractions on that one. Okay? It's going to look just like this one, but I made it multiple choice for y'all. Okay? That's why I accidentally did 17. It's not 17, it's 16, but I made it multiple choice. It's going to look like an answer like this. Okay? Kind of. I tell you what, if that's a difficult one, then you circle that one and I go over it again tomorrow.
Going over this one.
Yeah. What's going to be underneath what? This? All right. So that's just your answer. Negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 3. They're going to write it just like that. Okay?
So it should just go like this one tomorrow, if I was trying to.
All right. Are we ready for the next one? I've got 10 minutes left with y'all.
Yes, sir.
10 minutes. We guess so. If I need to come back, I
10 to 20.
10 to 20 minutes? No, I've got to run downstairs.
35.
Yep. She wasn't in here when we talked. All right. I've got to help with lunch. That's okay. Use the quadratic formula to solve the equation. But it looks like number 18 and 20 are on there. So let me go over 18 and 20. All right. The quadratic formula.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Could we do 18 on our calculator, or will we not get the right answer?
It just depends. Like you're gonna need to. You have to have an exact answer. So if you get a decimal, it's wrong. It's gonna have to be a square root. So that's why you have to use a quadratic formula on some of them, because you can't put a decimal. If it says use the quadratic formula, no decimal answers. Okay, they have to have a square root answer, which y'all need to be used to, because I promise you, like in college, you'll do these and you need to be used to square roots. Okay, so it's negative b. What is negative? What is b? Negative 9.
Sorry.
X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of
B squared.
b squared
Minus 4AC.
minus 4
I say that's my mom.
c all over 2a. Now make sure this was a, b, c.
See, I got the ABC part, but I
So-
get confused on the.
It's if you seen how it goes a weasel, it helps.
X equals negative B plus or minus square root. B squared minus 4AC. All over 2A.
I'm just gonna have to do it.
And you just plug them in.
I'm gonna go to sleep listening to that song.
Yeah, the pop goes the weasel one, like that. I like the quadratic formula song better. It's funny,
X equals negative B.
but the video
It's
is
too
funny.
much.
But you can't, to me, that I can't memorize that. Pop goes the weasel, you can memorize it. Okay, so I get 9 plus or minus, and I don't know what that's gonna be. 81 minus 48
So
or something
4
like that.
to the second.
Yeah.
Minus 4.
That should be 9 squared, I think.
3
Or it's negative 9 squared.
times 6. I got negative 56. That's, it can't be negative. Yeah.
It should be 9. That's not a 4 squared, it's a 9 squared.
It is a 9 squared?
That is a 9 squared.
Oh, okay.
So I get the square root of 9.
Yeah, me too.
Hold on. Put it in wrong. Oh.
Did you get 9? You somebody else said me too?
I did.
Okay. Now, what is the square root of 9? 3. Okay? So really quick, let me change that. 9 plus or minus 3 over 6. So guess what our two answers are? What is 9 plus 3?
That is
12 minus 6, 2.
12 over 6, which is 2. What is 9 minus 3?
6.
What is 6 over 6?
1.
There's our two answers. 1 and 2. Could you have graphed this one, Haley? Yes, you could have. And gotten the answer. Because those are exact numbers. You would have gotten 1 and 2. So that, oh, and then there they were, 1 and 2. I didn't realize that one was multiple choice. All right. The next one is number 20.
Okay, so,
I'm going to move that up. Is anybody still writing? Yeah. Oh no. I'm going to have to go back and pick a few problems. I'm going to have to remake this test because this one has eyes on it.
Huh?
what?
Eyes?
Imaginary numbers, sorry.
The ACT.
ACT, the
Oh.
I have way too many tests to pick from. Let me check this one out. Let's see what this one has. All right, is everybody ready for number 20 yet? Yes, okay. How many does this have? This one only has 15. Oh, this one might be good. This may be the one I go with. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I need to do another graphing, another word problem. Quadratic formula. Okay, number of real solutions. I think I want to do one like this. Okay, the next one. Here we go.
Miss Amanda,
So y'all, really quick.
can the bottom number be a negative? It can?
The bottom number can be negative, and it's just the plus or minus sign just makes it to where it doesn't matter. But the bottom number won't matter if it's negative or not because it's plus or minus. Okay, really quick. Y'all, let me just make sure we've got this so I can tell y'all because I found a better test. There's one like 1, 2, and nope, sorry. Yeah, there's one like 1, 2, and 4. It's 1, 2, and 4. And then I think I'm going to go with this test.
4.
And then 6. So I may go over number 6. Oh, that's my alarm.
6.
I've got 5 minutes. And then there's going to be one like
7.
the height in feet. Actually, I think it's like 8 and 9. But they're the same thing. They're 8 and 9. But I can go back over those in a second. And then number 10, which I did, and 11, which I did, and 12, which I did, and then I go to
Is 13 on there?
I'm looking to see. It looks like my next one's a quadratic formula. I said 12. Okay, yeah. Then it's going to be number 14. And then it's going to be number 16. And then it's going to be, I'm at quadratic formula.
16 and
14 and 14.
It's going to be kind of like number, I think 18 and 19. Okay? And then it's going to be like number 2 of these. Like, I don't know which one. Out of 21 through 23, like 2 of those will be on there, okay? I mean, I'm not sure, because that's kind of all the same thing over and over. So, now, saying that, I'm glad I finally figured this out. It's only 15 questions. Now, so which one's really quick, because I am going to run out of time.
21, 20, or one of those.
Okay, let me do one of these real quick, and then I can go back. Also, some of these you can just look at tonight, and y'all, I can take probably 10 minutes tomorrow to go over the others. So, I'll do 23 and 22. All right, let's just do 2 of them. Does that sound good? All right, so 22, all we look at is what's under that square root. So we're gonna go through x, or you can graph them and see. You can always graph them and look at the picture. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. That's all that matters on these. So if I put this one in order,
So you got 7 squared.
so I have b squared, so that's 7 squared minus 4 times negative 8 times negative 6. And I need to see what that number is under that square root. So I would type that in my calculator. And I get, I want to make sure, 7 squared.
I got negative 143.
I got a negative number. We cannot try, if you type a negative number in your calculator, it's going to say error. Why? Because
Square and negative.
you can't take the square root of a negative. So on that one, if you get a negative number, oh wait, no, it's not, it cannot be determined. I'm sorry, it's no real solutions. It's no real solutions. Remember, it's only going to be 1, 2, or none. Remember, those are only 3 options.
What if this cannot be determined?
I have no idea why it says that. I think
No
they just
real
wanted a
solution.
4th option. Okay, it is no real solutions.
So if it hits
Because
error,
the square
so
root,
do
because
not
that is a number, we haven't learned it, it's imaginary. It is a solution, it's just not
Don't say
Real
that.
one.
So don't ever pick can't be determined.
Yeah, don't pick that one. Nah, don't pick it.
So if it's negative and it shows up error, no real solution.
No real solution. It's not real. It is a solution. There is a solution, it's just not a real number. This one,
Imaginary.
it would be plus 3x plus 3. Let's try this one. Remember, you have to move them all together.
So
So I get b squared minus 4ac. And Elena, if you need to leave, I don't know what time. That's 3 squared
I'm gonna leave it
minus 4 times 4 times 3. I'm gonna get another negative. Did y'all get another negative?
no solutions.
So it's negative 39. So again, that one is no real solution. Y'all pretend it was a positive 39. What would that one have been?
1, 2
2.
solutions.
What if it would have been 0?
It's
One.
one.
solution. You can always graph it. Hold on, what did you say? What's with A, B, and C?
Which one is it?
Tracy, are you gonna
Is
teach us
it A,
that?
It's C.
You gonna
This
teach us
one is
that?
no real solutions.
I'm talking about the,
Oh, the numbers, the A is in front of x squared, the B is in front of x, and the C is always the other number. But you have to have them all together. Like I had to move the negatives over. Because they have to be on the same side of the equal sign.
When would you get one solution?
If it was 0, if this number went to 0, that's one solution.
And if it went to 2?
If it goes to, so this is 1. If it has a positive number, it's 2. If it has a negative number, it's none. No real solution. Cannot be determined, not an option. Okay, is that time, y'all think? Yes, it is actually time. So, tomorrow just come prepared, yeah, you can go. Tomorrow just come prepared with what question you might have. I've only got 10 minutes. Maybe a good idea to split this up with your partner, you know, like what are you gonna study?
This made us 20 on
we didn't do this.
We did.
I don't think
She didn't say 20.
I don't think it's 20. So did I do most of these?
You didn't do
I didn't do the 2 word problems. The other 2, the frog and the bridge. It's always a bridge. It's always a bridge. Okay, the frog problem is also on there, but y'all, we've done that one 3 times. Honestly, I can go over it tomorrow.
I'm gonna end up
So
picking
for number
over